From Mumbai to London to New York City. Spoiler alert, join me as I reveal 10 of the richest cities in the world. Who knows, maybe you already live there. Number 10. Mumbai. It's not easy to measure a city's wealth, so there are several factors that we will look at here to determine the richest cities, including residents, GDP, and number of billionaires. Mumbai, India is an important city for multiple reasons. First off, it's the capital of the region of India it's in. It's the second most populous city in India after Delhi, and it's the 7th most populous city in the world today. But beyond the people, Mumbai is a cornerstone of India and its wealth in more than one way. Mumbai is the financial, commercial, and entertainment capital of India. It's also one of the world's top 10 centers of commerce in terms of global financial flow, generating 6.16% of India's GDP. When you combine all those factors together, that alone would make it a very rich city in every context that matters. However, the city is also home to an astounding 37 billionaires. Ones whose wealth total $184.4 billion. The richest of these is oil and gas heir Mukesh Ambani, who is worth $50 million on his own. Further proving the wealth of Ambani, he's the owner of what is believed to be the most expensive home in the world, a $1 billion palace that has 27 stories to it. He also housed a wedding for his daughter that was one of the biggest and most expensive weddings ever produced. Here's hoping that marriage lasts. Number 9. Seoul. South Korea and North Korea could not be more different in certain aspects. And that goes especially for their capital cities. Seoul, South Korea is a literal beacon of beauty, hope, and wealth in a nation that has been known to be kicked down at times. It is here that many businesses and people thrive and are able to get many objects of their desires. The city is so popular that all but one of the nation's billionaires live here, which isn't surprising given the grand nature of the city. In 2014, Seoul was the world's 4th largest metropolitan economy with a GDP of $635.4 billion, due in large part to the various companies that have thrived in the capital, such as Samsung and Hyundai. What might surprise you is that the city has been voted as the most livable place in Asia and is revered for its quality of life. This can be shown not just in the living costs, which are known to be quite low, but how businesses are allowed to thrive there, such as in the ever-popular gaming markets. Gaming cafes are one of the most popular things in Seoul and bring in a lot of money. The gaming market also led the way for the creation of the popular MMORPG series MapleStory. In total, 38 billionaires live in Seoul, and their wealth is almost at $100 billion. Number 8. Shenzhen. In China, Shenzhen is a very special place, both in terms of its location, as it's bordering Hong Kong, but also its purpose. In the 1980s, China was going through some reforms of their government and their lifestyle, and thus they determined Shenzhen to be a special economic zone, meant to be a producer of business and capital. And their idea worked, because now Shenzhen is one of the richest cities in the world, and one that is very unique in terms of the billionaires that inhabit it, because every single one of the billionaires that reside within the city are self-made, and their wealth combines to about $190 billion. Meaning that they started with nothing, worked their way up in the industries that they were part of, and then struck it rich on their own. Such as Huka Yan, who once worked as a technician in a factory before going into real estate and becoming rich, or Frank Wang, who went into the drone industry and became the first billionaire of that industry. Now Shenzhen is a hub for not just businesses, but also for tourists, as it's been dubbed one of the top places to visit in 2019. Number 7. San Francisco. Located on the west coast of the United States in California, San Francisco is praised as one of the biggest tech areas in all of the United States, including being the homes for companies like Uber, Pinterest, and Airbnb, and that's just scratching the surface of the numerous tech companies that are there. Truly, the digital age is one of the biggest reasons why San Francisco is so popular, but also so expensive to live in. In fact, it is the most expensive city in the US to live in. But that doesn't mean that the people who live there don't make a pretty penny. Because of the nature of the work that's there, the average income is about $130,000, making it the 7th highest income county in the US. In 2015, its GDP alone was about $154 billion. In terms of billionaires, there are about 42 of them in the city, and their value is accrued to $109 billion. However, if you include the areas that are around San Francisco, known as the Bay Area, the number doubles to about 82 billionaires. And now for number 6. But first, let me know if your city is on this list, or if you've ever visited any of these cities before. And be sure to subscribe to World List before you go. Number 6. Shanghai. In China, one of the richest cities there is also one with the most strategic importance in terms of location, as Shanghai is the world's largest port, which on its own would make Shanghai rich due to the needs of shipping worldwide. However, in the digital age that the world is in now, shipping is even more important due to the rise of internet purchases. To that end, multiple billionaires that come from Shanghai are tied to shipping agencies. In fact, there are 4 major shipping companies tied to Shanghai, and each of them is so flush with cash that they have multiple billionaires associated with them. But their wealth goes beyond that due to their population. There are over 24 million people living in Shanghai as of 2018, and that has led to booms in business such as finances and transportation. All told, their billionaire count is 45, and their wealth combined equals $110 billion. Number 5. London. As a whole, London is one of the most historical cities in all of the world today, which makes it a place that is ripe for tourism in all sorts of ways, including a booming hotel market that has more 5-star hotels than anywhere else in the world. Furthermore, it's so nice that many billionaires and other wealthy individuals from across the world have relocated to London over the years, including people from 35 different countries. Its influence goes beyond just the rich that try to live there. The popularity of London has earned it many names, including the world's most powerful, most desirable, most influential, most visited, most expensive, innovative, sustainable, most investment-friendly, and most popular for work city in the world. There are 55 billionaires in the city, and their wealth contributes to about $226 billion. Number 4. Beijing. As the capital of China, which is the most populous nation in the world, it's not too much of a surprise that the city is known for its wealth. Like many cities, though, Beijing has grown even more rich and powerful due to the digital age. 2 of its billionaires are the youngest in all of China, thanks to things like cryptocurrency and content creation. Known as a global power city, Beijing is also referred to as one of the world's leading centers for culture, diplomacy and politics, business and economy, education, language, and science and technology. Furthermore, between the state and private-owned companies, Beijing is incredibly flush, despite not being the most populous city in China. That would, of course, be Shanghai. They make up for it, though, by having the largest number of Fortune Global 500 companies in the world, as well as the world's 4 biggest financial institutions. Due to its size, history, and location, Beijing also has a booming transportation market, including having some of the busiest airports and subway stations in all of the world. Number 3. Moscow. Russia may not be the most popular nation in the world right now given its current controversies, but there is no denying that the capital city is one of the richest in the world right now. In fact, just in terms of its billionaires, of which there are 71, their money is equal to $336.5 billion, which is more than certain countries make in a year. But one of the other big reasons for its massive wealth is its massive population. It's the most populated place in Russia, with about 15 million residents living there, making it also one of the world's largest cities. But it being the capital makes it the cultural, economic, political, and scientific centers of the nation. And despite its cold nature in terms of the weather, it's also becoming a major tourist destination. That being said, it's also the most controversial of the richest cities, as many of their billionaires have been given sanctions by the US Treasury and other major powers for how they conduct business at times. Number 2. Hong Kong. Known as one of the most densely populated places in all of the world, Hong Kong is a powerhouse in terms of financials, while also being a political hotspot for many different nations. At present, the biggest thing going on in Hong Kong is real estate, as the nation is going through a great recession, and that has allowed the government and real estate moguls to bump up the prices for their buildings, creating many billionaires in the process, 79 of whom live in the city and are worth a combined $355.5 billion. Despite the financial inequality that does grip the city, the people of Hong Kong have one of the longest life expectancies in the entire world, likely because of everything that is around them in terms of wealth and quality of life resources. Number 1. New York City. One of the most popular cities in all of the world, and one of my favorite cities in all of the world, New York City is by and large the wealthiest city around. Not just because of the 84 billionaires that live there that have about $470 billion between them, the richest of whom is media magnate Michael Bloomberg, who is worth over $55 billion. But also because of what the city has to offer. It is the most populated city in the United States, housing about 8.3 million people, and across the 5 boroughs has a ton of economic pull across many sectors of industry. In fact, if New York City was turned into a sovereign state, it would have the 12th highest GDP in the entire world. The city is known not just for business, but for sports, tourism, and its history. It's the most photographed city in the world due to landmarks like the Statue of Liberty, Yankee Stadium, the Empire State Building, and much more. It's also home to the largest stock exchanges in the world via NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchanges, which make it one of the most financially important cities in all of the world. Thanks for watching. What did you think of these cities that are incredibly rich? Are you surprised by how rich some of them are? Did any of these cities on the list surprise you with their wealth? Do you know of any other rich city that could have been on the list? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to World List, and I'll see you next time.